Coming up, we're talking improvements at Terre Haute, some ASCS stats, including big performances from JJ Hickle and Ryan Timms, and more. Let's go. Today is Tuesday, March 15th, 2022. Welcome into Dirt Tracker Daily. I'm Justin Fiedler. I mentioned briefly at the end of the show yesterday that I was going to sit in on Winged Nation this week. We recorded yesterday for the upcoming show on MAV TV. So if you're a watcher of MAV, check it out coming up in the next few days. Me and Ashley Stremme talked a bunch of sprint car topics and had a very solid interview with Darren Pittman. Got some insight into what happened at Cotton Bowl Speedway a little over a week ago with Casey Kane and his needing to sit out a couple of those race nights. And consequently, if you tune in, you'll get to see me wearing my golf shirt inside out, which I didn't realize I had done until much later in the day yesterday. So at least you'll get a laugh out of that. Make sure to keep up with Winged Nation on social media at Winged Nation or wingednation.com. You may even hear some Dirt Tracker stats there in the future. Thanks to producer Hank, Ashley, and the postman for allowing me to sit in on that show. It was just about 6 weeks ago that we talked about the new promoters who were taking over the Terre Haute Action Track for 2022. Bernie Stuebgen of Indy Race Parts fame and Scott Ronk, who owns Chalksticks and Schroeder Torsion Bars, partnered up to promote the track that is on the property of the Wabash Valley Fairgrounds in Terre Haute, Indiana. Terre Haute is a cornerstone racetrack in Indiana, and it was good news to hear guys like Bernie and Ronk were taking over that facility. Within the last several days, thanks to a new track Twitter account, we are seeing the massive improvements that are coming to the facility for this upcoming season. Right off the bat, the biggest change is the removal of that concrete wall that surrounds both ends of the racetrack. In the past, it was stacked concrete blocks with a tire cushion on the top that encircled the track. But the blocks are being removed, and in its place, we'll see a stacked guardrail system like we've become familiar with at places like Knoxville Raceway and Jackson Motorplex. That's a big safety upgrade and something I'm sure the drivers will be thrilled about coming to this racetrack. Don't forget, this is the racetrack where we saw Brady Bacon leave the ballpark with that big flip last year. The group has also removed the rotting tower in Turn 1 and put in a concrete pad in Turn 4 for the water truck. They're also updating the tower there with some repairs. And from the original story, they're also planning on upgrading restrooms and the concession stands coming up. One of the things that made Terre Haute recognizable was the red, white, and blue walls surrounding the track, and once the new guardrail is in place, the track is holding a painting day on April 10th to bring those colors back, and they're inviting fans to participate. There will be you can get a free gift for the first 50 fans, and there'll be pizza and drinks served for participants. If you'd like to follow the progress, make sure you find at Terre Haute Track on Twitter. That's TerreHaute Track on Twitter. That's a different handle than we've seen in the past, so make sure you update that for your following list. The 2022 schedule at Terre Haute opens May 1st with the Sumar Classic for the Silver Crown cars. We'll see the USAC National Sprint Cars there on May 20th and 21st for the Holman Classic, July 27th during Indiana Sprint Week, and September 30th for the Jim Hurtubise Classic. Fans can check out monster trucks there on June 11th, and there are stops for the MSCS Sprint Cars on June 24th and August 12th. Between Skagit out in Washington, Kyle Larson, Brad Sweet, and Colby Copeland taking over Silver Dollar, and these updates coming to Terre Haute. Some great things happening at some dirt tracks around the country. Nice to see some of these places being upgraded. Just in time for the ASCS Sprint Car opener this weekend, I finished adding the 2021 season to the DirtTracker.com analytics database. We now have data on all 41 races from last year, which includes results for 284 drivers that competed last season. Blake Hahn was the series champion on the strength of 7 wins, 23 top 5s, and 35 top 10s with an average finish of 5.33. He beat out JJ Hickle, who was a rookie, and veteran Matt Covington for his first series championship. I added the ASCS to the site because I think it's a great place to discover emerging sprint car talent. And the 2021 year provided us with some great examples, Hickle being one of those and Ryan Timms being the other. Hickle would no doubt be the main contender for Hahn if he were returning to the series this season, but instead he's joining Brandon Eikenberry's team to run weekly at Knoxville for the 410 Track Championship, along with other scattered Midwest 410 starts. Hickle's from Washington, and unless you're super locked into the sprint car scene, you may not know a ton about him. Unlike Tim's, Hickle isn't a super young guy, but has emerged in recent seasons as a serious contender and someone to watch as he gets more starts on the national stage. In 39 ASCS features in 2021, he had 32 top 10s and an average finish of 5.7. He was really good down the stretch late in the year, chasing Han for that championship. He had 10 top 10s in the final 11 races and an average finish of 2.6 over the final 5 nights. He's a guy we haven't seen yet with the Outlaws or All-Stars, but someone that could surprise people with his speed when he does finally get those chances to race with those bigger series. As for Ryan Timms, the only ASCS driver with more victories in 2021 than Timms was champion Blake Hahn. And Timms accomplished that in basically half as many starts as Hahn had. The young Oklahoma driver made 17 feature starts in 20 appearances and had 15 top 10s and an average finish of 5.58 for the year. He had the second most wins with 5, was top 10 in both top 5 finishes and top 10 finishes, and led the third most laps. And again, did all that in far fewer races than his opponents. These guys are two fantastic examples of how I want to track this series going forward, and why I think we should all be paying more attention to series like the ASCS. Scott Buguski is a guy that is moving from the ASCS to a full-time all-star run. Obviously, I mentioned Hickle. Timms will continue to make waves on the national scene in sprint cars and midgets. And that list doesn't include guys like Hahn or Covington or Dylan Westbrook or the others we will see come through the ASCS in 2022. If you want to dive into these stats for yourself, you can find them at dirttracker.com/analytics/ASCS. And for more on top of the free stuff that's available, you can grab a subscription to Dirt Tracker Plus for just $4.99 a month. A bunch of added analytics, big stat dashboard, all kinds of extra things for a few dollars a month. The ASCS 2022 season opens this coming weekend at Devil's Bowl Speedway in Texas. The only thing on the streaming schedule today is Flow Racing 24/7. To see the full daily streaming schedule any day of the week with links to watch, visit dirttracker.com/watch tonight. That's it for the show today. Have a good Tuesday. If you have thoughts about the topics on today's show, please leave them in the comments below or tweet at me. If you'd like to send an email to the show, you can do that at info@dirttracker.com. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow for more Dirt Tracker Daily.